everyone. Welcome to Toad TV. I am Mary Beth.
I'm Helen.
We are the creative hands and minds behind Toad Hollow. And welcome. It is Thursday, April 13th.
Oh, look at that.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
My trusty watch says it's the 13th.
Larry's wedding anniversary.
That's right. Okay. Happy anniversary. He doesn't watch this. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we did want to say thank you so much to everybody who reached out and sent us kind comments, kind words, kind emails. Thank you guys so very, very much.
There are no words how awful things are. But thank you.
Yes.
The words do help. We did want to say it was our youngest brother, not the brother with the nephews. He is one above.
Right. This was John, who was, we've mentioned him. He was a bartender in Red Bank.
Yeah.
So yes, but thank you guys so very, very much. We're part of a really nice community.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate it.
Okay. And that's about all we're going to do on that.
Right. So let's talk about some good things.
Right.
Helen's going to put in a video. We decided it was going to be a very subdued Easter, but we wanted something pretty.
Right.
We wanted it to look pretty. So we made a tablecloth. We have a slightly larger table than most. My mother loves big antiques. She was telling me yesterday that there was an antique store or a thrift store that she would go into, and every time she entered, the realtor or the proprietor would come running up and say, "I have another monster for you," because she loves this kind of thing.
Yeah, and when she bought this house, she said she finally found a house that would fit her table.
Right, because she originally had it in the apartment that she and my dad and Damien and I lived in, and it took up the entire dining room. There was no room for chairs. I'm not sure how they got it in or out, but they did. It's a huge table.
Right. We figured
it fit us.
It was
60 by 120 is the size of the tablecloth that we did.
Right. So, and that it does not have a lot of hangover.
No.
Maybe 6 or 7 inches on either side.
If that.
Yeah. So we decided we were going to make this giant tablecloth. We wanted it something that we would piece together like a quilt.
Right.
But something simple enough because the three of us were going to do it together.
Right. My mom made some of these too.
Right. We each made about a third of the blocks.
Right. Here, we'll get them. So we chose a pattern from Fat Quarter Style. This is it's called 12 Quilts That Never Go Out of Style.
I think it's multiple designers.
It's So Emma Designs.
Right.
Okay. And we decided to go with the mosaic.
Fat quarter friendly, so we could do fat quarters.
Very, very simple.
And she has here the measurements, and
she gives you your fat quarter and how to cut everything out.
Right. But I was gonna say then so she tells you in the measurements how many blocks you need for each one, and how many fat quarters. So the twin was gonna get us a 62.5 by a 90.5 inch quilt, and the queen was gonna be 90.5 by 90.5, which was too big. So we needed to we made the twin,
but added 8 more blocks.
Right.
Because the twin called for 24 and we went with 32.
Right. So we added 2 more rows on the bottom.
Right.
There were rows of 4, so we added 2 more rows on the bottom to get us our math that we needed with the border. that she called for. So,
And it was beautiful.
it was.
It was absolutely beautiful. Helen finished it. We all pieced it together. Of course, we decided to do this the Thursday before Easter. So Thursday we cut everything. And then Friday we started sewing. Saturday we sewed a little bit more. And then Sunday, Helen, by Saturday night we had the quilt top done. And on Sunday, Helen put on you had the borders and everything on, right? So
Yeah, the whole top was done. We had to baste it and then quilt it and bind it.
And we decided that since it's a tablecloth, you're not going to see the underside. And we didn't want to put batting in. We wanted to keep it nice and flat.
And lighter.
And lighter. But we used plain muslin on the back. So Helen finished the quilting and did I say that we used white muslin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just before
Right.
we got distracted by deliveries and that sort of thing.
Okay, so Helen did the quilting and binding and everything. And while she did that, I made napkins. There were only 5 of us at dinner, so we only needed 5. And I used Tula Pink's Unicorn Poop, which are all pastel shades. And it turns out they come in a pack of 11 for fat quarters. So I needed 10 out of the 11. It worked out beautifully. So I just did 2 sides in pastel colors. And I did a very simple sew them together.
Was so busy, we didn't want anything too much on the napkins to
Right.
detract, but we wanted the napkins to show up on the table.
And we wanted them to be pretty.
Yeah.
And spring. So I just did 2 different sides and very, very simple. I cut 18 by 18 squares, put them together, right sides together. Well, actually, this is pastel fabric. There is no right side or wrong
Right.
side. But anyway, you sew around the outside, leaving a spot to turn it inside out, and then turn it inside out. Make sure you push out your corners. And then I did a double top stitch. I did one very close to the edge. Let me show it better here. I did one very close to the edge and one a little bit further in. So that was it. And I folded them so that you could see both sides, and it looked really pretty.
Yeah.
And then I took the silverware into the little pocket that I made. It was a very, very pretty table because we also went out and picked daffodils, and we had 2 big blooms of daffodils. It was just perfect.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
And sister number 3 brought out really good food, and it was just a very low-key, quiet, but nice dinner.
Yeah.
It was perfect. All right, so that was what we did. When you buy quilt books,
Every so often you might actually use one.
you might use it. So if anybody ever says to you, do you really need another quilt book? Yes, you do.
Because we were going through Pinterest and Instagram and that kind of thing and looking for something that was simple enough, and then finally we're like, we have books.
Yes. Helen's like, we have a stack of books, right? Yes, now I do.
And I do want to make this one because this one's gorgeous.
I know there are a couple in this that
Yeah.
are really, really pretty. Actually, there are quite a few. I want to make probably 8 out of the 12.
Yeah.
We will now get lost in quilts. Come over because this one's really pretty over here. That one there.
Yeah.
So fat quarter style from It's So Emma. We got it from the Fat Quarter Shop. We are well on our way to having just piles of quilting materials.
Right. And it was, other than it being an absolute beast to work with once it was all put together, just by the sheer size of it. But I was sewing on the table. It was going on, so I had plenty of space.
Yes.
So yeah, it was just maneuvering it as I was quilting it. We put it together,
Yeah, really quickly.
fairly quickly. So
Worked out very well.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Speaking of fabric, last March when we came up here for the first time, we had ordered fabric from the November before, and it started getting delivered, and we would go, one of us would run back and just bring the boxes in, dump them, and come back up again. And we never opened the boxes. And we moved them up here when we started moving everything up here for permanent relocation. And we finally started opening them yesterday. Yesterday was a hard day. It was a very hard day. And we decided that we really needed to do something to move us forward, getting out of the funk, getting stuff from being junked around, just moving us forward.
Something other than the go-to of just sitting and watching TV.
Right.
So we wanted to burst out of the malaise.
Yeah. You would be amazed how good it makes you feel to open up pretty fabric. I'm just going to say. If you ever, are feeling down in the dumps and you've ordered a package of pretty fabric and it comes, it does wonders for getting you out of the funk. So we have 2 new lines that we're going to be listing. I'm going to be listing them while Helen is editing this video so that they will be ready by the time you watch this video. One of them is all blues and aquas, and it's called The Sea is Calling. We're not going to show you everything in the line. We're just going to show you a couple so you can get an overall feel.
It just kept coming.
I know. What we've started doing is taking a couple of yards and putting them on pieces of cardboard for us to use so that we can make things out of them to show you, and not dip into the store that we have set aside to sell.
And also it allows us, by putting it on smaller bolts, we can put it all in one location, and then when you want to make something, you can look at it and see your fabric.
Right.
And see what we have to choose from, and not be, I thought I had.
Yeah. Do you have any idea where that is? So this is a way of us organizing it and getting it together and also seeing what we have. It's also a great way to show you. So here we go. This is the border one. That's upside down. There you go.
Doesn't really matter.
Do you see the aquas that are in there and all the different shades of blue? It is so pretty. It's just so pretty. And then there are a couple of different ones that are tosses. Like, there's the octopus. Come over. There you go. And all the different fish and the lobsters. Here's another one that's got a slightly different background that you can see. It's so pretty. There's some that are sand dollars and starfish.
Most of these come on a darker background and then a lighter background.
And then there's this one where the starfish just basically glows against this dark blue. It's so beautiful.
That color teal.
So, so pretty. So there's a whole bunch. They've got a panel to go with it. And it's just really, really pretty, clean fabric. It's got a clean feel to it.
Right.
It's not grungy or anything like that. It's just gorgeous.
And it's being listed in our new way of listing things where you can either buy a fat quarter, a half yard, or multiple yards. And then we also have the half yard bundles.
Fat quarter bundles.
Fat quarter bundles and the 1 yard bundle.
Right.
So,
okay.
by multiple ways.
Yes. So, we're trying to offer it however is going to be easiest. All right. The other one that we got is called... I brought over the paper. There it is. Okay. All right, the other one.
Age.
The other one is called the Alternative Age. I love this one. I really, really love this one.
This is all Mary Beth. These are all your colors. These cannot do as much for me.
Look at the octopus. So this is all steampunk. And steampunk, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically taking Victorian and Edwardian themes and things like that and then making them kind of futuristic. There's lots of gears. There's lots of mechanical beings. Spaceships tie into this a lot. It's just... Did I mention that there were gears? There are also lots of keys and clocks and things like that. I love steampunk
Mechanical
so
parts.
much. But there's that. There's this one that has top hats and scissors and clock hands, and then it's all against haberdashery background. Look at that. This one, oh my God.
Yeah.
Look at the bee.
And the butterfly.
And the butterfly. But look at the bee. Oh my God, I love this. This one. Sorry, one of his clips came out. This one has feathers and deep sea diving helmets. Let me get him right side up. And mechanical seahorses. Oh my God. Again, against the haberdashery background. It's phenomenal. I didn't bring out the panel because the panel is big, but make sure you look closely at the panel because there's a spider. I'm not a huge fan of spiders, but this spider is so
It's a cool spider.
This spider is so cool. My mom was helping us fold it onto the boards, and I kept throwing bolts at her. I'm like, look at this. Look at this. Because I was getting very, very excited about this. So this is the alternative age fabrics. And again, there's quite a few more in the line. I didn't bring them all out to show you. They're so cool.
Right.
So there's that.
We have a couple more boxes to open, and we have we just signed up with Dear Stella. So Dear Stella fabric is on its way.
They already shipped.
Yeah.
We have a couple lines coming from there.
One which I cannot wait.
I know. And
the Halloween one that we got.
oh,
I think it's coming next month. I can't wait.
okay. Yesterday was a really, really good day for social media because Tula Pink released her new line. So if you follow Tula Pink on either Instagram or Facebook, you can go watch her video. Her new line is going to be called Besties, and it's all about animals that you have for pets.
With dogs is the focus.
Oh my God. You know we're going to be carrying that.
Yeah,
However, I kind of got to that by way of her newest line of fabric, Everglow,
Also shipped.
is going to be here very soon. So we're going to have that to start releasing soon. Another really exciting thing that's happening that we're going to be doing is the Queen of Diamonds quilt. That is going to be an English paper pieced block of the month. Hopefully Helen has put...
And I'm not just standing here going...
Anyway, it's going to be an English paper piece block of the month that you hand stitch. And Tula Pink is going to be having a monthly stitch along that she's going to do. Pink Door Fabrics is the company or the store, the designer that created the quilt. She is going to be doing a whole bunch of videos on English paper piecing and the best way to do this quilt.
It looks very, very complicated. It is not. And by doing it as a block of the month, it's going to be broken up into pieces, and the sashings are machine pieced. So you're putting the blocks together, but then when you put the whole quilt together, it's going to be machine pieced.
Okay.
So
we are, the way they're selling it is they're selling it in quarters. So you get blocks 1, 2, 3, and those will be coming end of May, beginning of June. Blocks 4, 5, 6 will be coming end of August, beginning of September. Blocks 7, 8, 9 are going to be coming November, December. And blocks 10, 11, 12 will be January of next year. And what they will do is, starting in June, everybody's going to be sewing this together and doing it over the year. So you go from June 2023 to May 2024 and do it that way. I think that's the way they're doing it. If you're doing a block of a month.
It's going to go to March, right? 12?
Well, that's not 12.
Oh,
starting
right.
June.
I see what you're doing. Okay, yeah.
So anyway, it's a brand new thing. We're doing it. We're going to be doing it. We're keeping 2 of the kits for ourselves. But then we have a limited number that we are selling. Right. We also ordered all the paper pieces that you need, 615 paper pieces that you will need. Do not get discouraged.
Don't give numbers that frighten people.
Don't get frightened. You will be able to do this because remember, you're doing it one block at a time.
Right.
And you have the entire month to finish the block.
Our intention is that we will also be doing we'll be doing things on Facebook with it, and that kind of thing. I say our intention just because.
We don't make plans anymore.
Right.
So, but that is the way we're going to do it. We have 2 different options of how you can buy the kit. You can either buy it doing it quarterly. We are doing the first and the last quarter get paid up front. And there is a $20 shipping fee that covers all 4 shipments. And that is one way of doing it. And then we will invoice you in June and again in June. No.
May, June is when the first one comes out.
In August and in November.
Right.
We'll invoice you in August and November for the middle 2. And you will have already paid for the last one.
Right.
Or if you know you want to do it and you want to do the entire thing and you want to pay for it up front, there's a listing that is pre-order one-time payment. You also save 10% that way. If you decide to pay everything up front, you save 10% on the thing.
It'll still be shipped quarterly because they're shipping it to us quarterly.
Right.
We will only in end of May, beginning of June, we will only be able to ship the first quarter because that's all that will have come to us.
Right.
So.
But there are going to be lots of different ways of getting support and help. Free Spirit is the fabric company that created this, that they're the ones that make the fabric. Free Spirit Fabric is the parent company that makes the fabrics that we use. They have a Queen of Diamonds Block of the Month Facebook group that you can join, and there are lots of people joining from all over the country, maybe all over the world, I'm not sure. But they are going to have videos there from all different people that are working with this block of the month, so that there will be videos up on how to do different things.
Right.
And then, as we said, Tula Pink is going to be releasing some on her social media pages. We hopefully will be doing some with ours. And there's just going to be lots and lots of support to do it. So if you are interested in hand stitching and English paper piecing, and you think you'd like to take this on, please do it with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's a great way to take on such a big project. You have pieces that, you have deadlines, but they're manageable deadlines.
Right.
Because you're doing just little pieces and you're taking this thing over a whole year. But it also manages your time so that you do actually get it done.
Right.
Would you like to say hello? Oh. Lisa would love to see you. I'm sure she thinks that we've done terrible things to you. Go ahead, show proof of life.
Hi.
Can you hear this ridiculous purr?
I'm pretty sure you can. He sits on the kitchen table and waits for my mother to come down. And then purrs.
And then he just sticks his head in her face.
And when she sits and cuts cheese for the birds, the last thing before we go to bed, she cuts up cheese and apples for the birds, and he sits there and steals the cheese from her.
It's orange cheese.
And she lets him.
It's crazy about orange food.
Because she loves him very much. Yes. And I keep hearing her say, you can't have any more because I'm going to get in trouble if you get sick. And then you hear, that is the last one. And then you hear, no, really, that is the last piece.
I'm hiding it now.
So he is a lot of comfort to all of us. He's a very, very good cat. Okay. All right. So we did new fabric. We did upcoming fabric. We did Queen of Diamonds Block of the Month.
Did our epic tablecloth.
Epic tablecloth. Do you have anything else?
No.
I just have 2 books that I have, one that I've finished and one that I'm reading. Right. I have 2 books, one that I finished, one that I am still in the middle of reading, that are just so good that I wanted to share them with you. The first one is, I'm getting the names right. Right. This is Wayward by Amelia Hart. We got this.
You guys, if anything's going to get us dyeing yarn again,
Okay.
it's book covers like this.
I'm trying to see. I'm sorry it's blown out a little bit, but it is beautiful. We got the hardcover book of this as part of Book of the Month Club. This is the type of book that you sit and pat afterwards, just because it was so good. So very good. It's about 3 different women in 3 different timelines. The book opens with Altha, who is in the 1600s. She is in a dungeon and she's about to be tried for witchcraft. Then there's another part that is in the late 30s, early 40s, that is about Violet, and she lives with a father who doesn't believe that women should be educated, and all she really wants to be is a botanist, and she loves insects. And then she wants to be either a botanist or an entomologist. She loves insects and flowers and that kind of thing. And then the third woman is in present day, and she is in an abusive relationship, and she's trying to get out of the abusive relationship. And it's how they all tie together, and love of nature and being your true self and living wild. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. I love this book.
I can't wait to read it.
It's
I have to
gorgeous.
finish my book.
And then the one that I'm reading right now is Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. This is about a woman who, on her 18th, the eve of her 19th birthday, her birthday is on New Year's Day. When she is 18, she is in a New Year's party, and at the stroke of midnight, she passes out and wakes up on New Year's Day. Only inside she's 19, outside she's 51. And she then lives her life out of order. Every New Year's Eve, she passes out and wakes up in a new age. But each of the chapters or each of the parts is labeled with her internal age, because it's telling it from how she is when she was 19, how she is when she's 20, how she is when she's 21 inside, but then her outside are all different ages. And she tries...
Really fascinating.
It is. She tries to leave a letter for herself so that she has some clue of what's going to happen, what's happened in the past, because a lot of the years that have happened in the past, she hasn't lived yet, even though she's in a different time period. So when she's 18, when she wakes up when she's 51, it's 2015. And she left the 80s, and now it's 2015, and an awful lot changed between the 80s and 2015, so that she has to navigate all that. It's so good. The characters are so good. And it's kind of cool going back to the 80s and the 90s and reliving some of the things that are going on there, and then coming back to today. It's really, really good. So I recommend that very, very highly. I'm in the middle of it and I'm just loving it.
Cool.
So that is where I am reading wise.
I am reading still for the rest of my life. I'm reading Babel by R.F. Kuan. It's a very, very well written book. It's a good book. It's a dense book. It's a brutal book. Not only, there's like brutality, and then there's just the brutalness of looking in the mirror. It's just, and colonialism. It's
There's a lot in it.
It's a lot to get through.
It is.
Working my way through.
And she won't let herself read anything else
I
until
won't.
she finishes.
That's my physical book, and I started The Forgotten Sister on Audible, and that's really good.
Yes, I love that one. I really like that one very much. I am listening to, somebody recommended it to us, the Rivers of London
You
series.
started that one, okay.
And it is very, very good. It's also known as Midnight Riot. It's by Ben Aronovich, And it's lots of fun. It's about a police constable who gets one of his first cases, and it involves a ghost. Because the ghost is one of the key witnesses. So it's good. It's very good. Cool. And people are possessed and all sorts of fun things. So it's a fun book. I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I think that pretty much does it.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much done. We hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. We are enjoying just spectacular weather.
Oh my God. It's going to be like 90 degrees today.
Opening all the windows and airing the place out.
Perfect spring.
Yes.
And everything is just exploding. The trees are green. Grass is growing. Some of my seedlings are growing.
All the trees that we were looking at to try and decide, are they alive? Are they dead? That kind of thing.
They're all alive.
They're all alive. They're all putting out buds saying, nope, I'm alive. Don't think about cutting me down. I'm alive. Lots of barking. We had to make sure Hugo wasn't chasing away the mailman because we have a package for him to pick up.
But
anyway, we hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Go forth and create.
And we will see you hopefully next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.